My name's Kaylee. I'm a student physical therapist, and today we're going to be discussing the female anatomy. First, we're going to start off with the pelvic organs. Right here, we have our ovaries, one on either side. This is where the hormones estrogen, progesterone, and androgens are produced, and this is also where the eggs are produced and stored. And then from there, the egg will then travel through here, which is the fallopian tubes that we have on either side, and they will enter into the uterus. If the egg is not fertilized, then the egg will be released from the body through the vaginal canal during a female's menstrual cycle. If the egg is fertilized, then it will be implanted into the wall of the uterus, and from there it will develop into a baby. And once the baby is ready to be born, it will also then exit through the vaginal canal. All right, let me take this out. So here you can kind of have a better view. Here's the uterus, the ovaries, and the fallopian tube, and then here is the vaginal canal. So that was our reproductive system. Next, I'm going to talk about our urinary system. So here we have the bladder that sits right underneath the uterus, and then connected to the bladder is the urethra. The bladder stores urine once it comes from the kidneys through the ureters, and once the urine is ready to be excreted from the body, it will then travel through the urethra and out of the body. From there, we could talk about our digestive system, and in this model, I only have the rectum, and the rectum is going to store the feces until it is also ready to be excreted from the body, and there are muscles that aid in doing that. So now that we've talked about our organs, we are going to discuss some of the muscles. So here I'll give you a little bit of an overview, and all these again will be sitting inside the pelvis. So first I'm going to go ahead and just take out the uterus and my bladder. Okay, so our first layer here, the pelvic floor is divided up into 3 layers. This is the deepest layer. This is the pelvic diaphragm. It is made up of 3 muscles that collectively are known as the levator ani. Individually, we have the iliococcygeus, which runs around the outside here. I'll show you what it looks like in the pelvis. It runs along the outside here, and then we have the pubococcygeus here, and then the puborectalis here. The iliococcygeus helps to just maintain support of the pelvic organs, and as does the pubococcygeus. And then the puborectalis works in conjunction with the external anal sphincter, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and that just helps to control feces continence. Okay, from here, I'm going to remove this top layer. Oops. Now we have our second layer. This layer is made up of 3 muscles here. We have our deep transverse perineum, and then we have our compressor urethra and our urethrovaginal sphincter. The deep transverse perineum also aids in supporting the pelvic diaphragm, which was the layer above it, and then the compressor urethra here that helps in constricting the urethra, and then we have the urethrovaginal canal, which aids in the closure of the vaginal canal and the urethra. From there, we have our last floor of the pelvis, and this floor aids in sexual functioning. So we have the ischiocavernosus, we have the bulbosponginosus, and then we have the external anal sphincter right there. So the bulbosponginosus performs vaginal closure, and during erection it compresses the vestibular gland. The ischiocavernosus, which runs here and here, I'll show you it again in the pelvis. It's there and there. And this acts to maintain the erection of the clitoris as it runs all the way to the front. And then we have our external anal sphincter, which works in conjunction with the puborectalis that I was talking about before in the pelvic diaphragm. And this also helps to maintain fetal continence, and when this muscle relaxes is when a bowel movement can be passed. And then our last muscle in this is the superior transverse perineum, right there. And this acts to just also help support the perineum. And yes, that is all that we have. Let me show you how we put it back together just so you kind of get an overview. So we have our bottom layer, we have our second layer, and then we have our third layer. Let's do that there. Good. And then we put our vaginal canal back through the muscle of the urethrovaginal canal. And our bladder and urethra. And then they sit all nicely in the pelvis. Thanks for learning.